Okay, students, class 12th mathematics CBSE. Yesterday we have completed the introduction of the chapter vector algebra. Okay, and we have told about the direction cosine of a line. Okay, let us suppose that this is a line in three-dimensional space. Okay, three-dimensional space and making an angle of alpha, beta and gamma with the positive direction of x-axis, y-axis and z-axis respectively. Okay, alpha, beta and gamma. When we take cos of all these, cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma, these are called as cosine of the line. Cosine of the corresponding line. Okay, cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma. These are represented as n equals to cos alpha, n equals to cos beta and n equals to cos gamma. Means n equals to cos of alpha, n is equals to cos of beta and n equals to cos of gamma. These are the direction cosine of the given line. Okay, we have already told you that cos of alpha is equals to x upon r and cos of beta is equals to y upon r and cos of gamma is equals to z upon r. Means we have already proved that x is equals to r cos alpha, y is equals to r cos beta and z is equals to r cos gamma. Okay, and we have already told you that the position vector of any point P whose coordinates are x, y, z with respect to the origin O with coordinate 0, 0, 0 is represented as r vector, and r vector equals to xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. Okay, this is the position vector of point P with respect to the origin O. Okay, now the magnitude of r vector, that is position vector r vector is represented as modulus m, modulus r vector, and equals to under root x square plus y square plus z square, and this is equals to r square. R is representing the magnitude, that is magnitude r is equals to small r. So x square plus y square plus z square is equals to r square. Now putting this x, y and z, we are having r cos alpha whole square plus r cos beta whole square plus r cos gamma whole square is equals to r square. Okay, taking r square as common, cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is equals to r square. Now r square will cancel r square both the sides. We will have cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is equals to 1. Okay, and n equals to cos alpha, n equals to cos beta, n equals to cos gamma implies that n square plus n square equals to 1. Okay, n square plus n square is equals to 1. This is the relationship between the direction cosine of a line. If L, M, N are the direction cosine of a line, then the sum of their square is equals to 1. Okay, that is L square plus M square plus N square is equals to 1. This is called as the relationship between the direction cosine of a line. Okay, now the next topic is direction ratio of a line. Direction ratio of a line. What does it mean? What does it mean? The direction ratio of a line. Direction ratio of a line are the numbers, real numbers, which are directly proportional to the direction cosine of the given line. Okay, do you understand? The direction ratios are the real numbers. Direction ratios are the real numbers which are directly proportional to the direction cosine of the given line. That is, if this is a line OP and its direction cosines are L and N, and let A, B and C are its direction ratio, then A, B, C are a real number, and these real numbers are directly proportional to L, B is directly proportional to M, and C is directly proportional to N. Okay, means A is equals to 1 upon K into L, B is equals to 1 upon K into N, and C is equals to 1 upon K into N. Or we can write down that L upon A equals to M upon B is equals to N upon C is equals to K. Okay, so L is equals to A into K, M equals to B into K, and N equals to C into K. Now the L and N are having the relation. L and N are having the relation, or satisfying the relation, What is the relation? L square plus M square plus N square is equals to 1. Now putting this L and N in place of L and N. Okay, so L is equals to AK whole square plus BK whole square plus CK square is equals to 1, and taking K square as common, A square plus B square plus C square is equals to 1, implies that K square is equals to 1 upon A square plus B square plus C square. So this implies that K equals to plus minus 1 upon the root A square plus B square plus C square. Okay, so K is equals to plus minus 1 upon under root A square plus B square plus C square. This is the value of K. Now K is equals to L is equals to AK. That is why L is equals to A into K. K means this plus minus A into 1 upon under root A square plus B square plus C square. Okay, and similarly we can find N is equals to plus minus 3 upon under root A square plus B square plus C square, and N is equals to plus minus C upon under root A square plus B square plus C square. Okay, these three are the relation. These three are the relation between the direction ratio and direction cosine of the given line. Okay, this is L square plus M square plus N square is equals to 1 is the relation between direction cosine. Relationship between direction cosine, and these three are the relation between direction cosine and direction ratio. If we know the direction cosine, we can find the direction ratio, and if we know the direction ratio, we can find the direction cosine. Okay, vice versa. Direction ratio to direction cosine and direction cosine to direction ratio can be obtained using these formulas. Okay, so this is the relation between the direction ratio and the direction cosine. Very important relation. Question is always asked in exam. Okay, now let us take the direction cosine of the axis, x axis, y axis and z axis. Direction y axis and z axis also. X axis, whenever we are finding the direction cosine of x axis, we will consider the angle. We will consider the angle made by this axis, made by the line parallel to x axis with x axis, y axis and z axis. Okay, so this is x axis, y axis and z axis, and any line parallel to x axis or x axis or x axis, x axis or line parallel to x axis. Okay, we want to find the direction cosine. Now this line, parallel line, will make angle 0 degree, 90 degree and 90 degree with the positive x axis, positive y axis and positive z axis. Okay, so line parallel to x axis will makes angles 90 degree, makes angles 0 degree, 90 degree and 90 degree with the OX, OY and OZ, that is x axis, y axis and z axis. Okay, means lines made by x axis with x axis, y axis and z axis are 0 degree, 90 degree and 90 degree. We want to find the direction cosine. So let us take the cosine of all these angles. Cos of 0 degree, cos of 90 degree and cos of 90 degree. Cos 0, we know cos 0 is equals to 1, cos 90 is equals to 0, cos 90 is equals to 0, implies that n equals to 1, n equals to 0 and n equals to 1. So these are the 100. 100 is the triplet of direction cosine of x axis. Okay, so 100 is the triplet of direction cosine of x axis. Similarly, we can find the direction cosine, direction triplet of y axis and z axis. Okay, so 0, 1, 0 is the triplet of direction cosine of y axis, and 0, 0, 1 is the triplet of z axis. Okay, so these are also important. Whenever we will solve the questions related to the straight line, we will use these direction cosine. Okay, and it is important to mention here in this topic, that is direction cosine and direction ratio. Okay, now let us take the direction cosine of a line segment. Direction cosine of a line segment having its endpoints. Let PQ is the line segment. Coordinate of P is x1, y1 and z1, and coordinate of Q are x2, y2 and z. Okay. Now the position vector of this PQ vector. PQ vector is equals to position vector of Q minus position vector of P. Okay, that is x2 I cap plus y2 j cap plus z2 k cap minus x1 I cap plus y1 j cap plus z1 k cap, and this is equals to x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap. Okay, so PQ vector is equal to this. Now the scalar component of this vector are x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1. Okay, now I want to recall all of you that the direction cosine of a vector, that is a1 I cap plus a2 j cap plus a3 k cap. Direction cosine of this vector are the component of unit vector of this vector. Okay, this is an important fact. This is an important fact that direction cosine of this vector are the component of unit vectors of this vector, of the same vector. So first of all we will find the unit vector a cap, that is a vector divided by magnitude a vector, and then we will find the components, scalar components. Those scalar components are the direction cosine of the vector a vector. Okay, so now this is a1 I cap, a2 j cap plus a3 k cap divided by under root a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square. Okay, a1 I cap plus a2 j cap plus a3 k cap divided by this. This is the unit vector. Now direction cosines are a1 upon under root a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square. Okay, so first of all this is H, M and N. We can find direction cosine. Here we will use this concept here. We will use this concept here to find the direction cosine of line segment PQ, whose endpoints are given. We will find the unit vector of this vector. Okay, so PQ, magnitude PQ vector is equals to under root x2 minus x1 plus x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square plus z2 minus z1 square. This is the magnitude and this is PQ vector. Okay, so PQ vector unit care. PQ unit vector equals to PQ vector divided by magnitude of PQ vector. That is, this will divided by this. x2 minus x1 I cap divided by plus y2 minus y1 plus z2 minus z1 k cap, and this is divided by under root x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1 plus z2 minus z1 square. Okay, now finding the direction cosine, that is finding the scalar component. So direction cosines of PQ vector. PQ vector means a line segment joining the 2 points. A line segment joining the 2 points whose end points are given P vector and Q. P and Q, that is x1 y1 z1 and x2 y2 z2. So direction cosine of PQ vector are x2 minus x1 divided by under root summation x2 minus x1 square. Okay, summation means the sum of square of the like terms. Now second one is y2 minus y1 divided by under root summation x2 minus x1 square and z2 minus z1 divided by under root x2 minus x1 square summation. Okay, so these are the direction cosine. Okay, these are the direction cosine of the line segment whose endpoints are given. Now the direction ratio. Direction ratios are the component of the vector. Direction cosine are the component of vectors and direction cosines are the component of unit vector. Okay, direction ratio component of vectors and direction cosine are component of unit vectors. Okay, this is the difference between direction ratio and direction cosine. So direction ratio are the component of vectors, means direction ratio of PQ vector are x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1 and z2 minus z1. So these are the direction ratios, these are the direction cosines. Okay, so this is the relation, or this is the way we can find the direction cosine of a line segment whose endpoints are given. This is an important concept also. Okay, we are learning more about direction cosine and direction ratio. So now let us take the next topic, that is, now let us take the another topic, that is addition of vectors. Now it comes the term of addition of vectors. Addition of vectors. Addition of vectors. Okay. Two vectors, two or more than two vectors can be added using the two laws. We have two laws to add the two or more than two vectors. First of all, parallelogram law of addition of vectors, and then second one is triangle law of addition of two vectors. Okay, and we will learn about both of the methods one by one. So first of all, take the parallelogram law of addition of vectors. Parallelogram law of addition of vectors. Okay, parallelogram law of addition of vectors. So what does mean by the parallelogram law of vectors? Okay, now let A vector and B vector be any two vector. A vector and B vector be any two vector, and they are representing the A vector and B vector are representing in magnitude and direction by the adjacent sides of any two adjacent sides of the parallelogram with the same initial point. Then their sum C vector is represented by the diagonal with the same initial point. Okay, what does it mean? It does mean that if A vector is this and B vector is another vector with the same initial point, that is O, this is B vector, then their sum that is A vector plus B vector is represented by the diagonal of this parallelogram. If we form a parallelogram, if we make a parallelogram using these two sides, then this is the parallelogram, then their sum of these vector A vector and B vector is represented by the diagonal with the same initial point, okay, with same initial point means with initial point O. Okay, so C vector, another vector C is the sum of vector A vector and B vector. C vector is the sum of A vector and B vector. This law of addition of two vectors is called as the law of parallelogram of addition of vectors. Okay, is it clear to all of you? I am again repeating this. If A vector and B vector are any two vector, and these two vectors in magnitude and direction are representing any two adjacent sides of the parallelogram with same initial point. This is important. The initial point is same. Okay, so initial point is this. So A vector is this and B vector is this. If these are two vectors and representing the adjacent sides of the parallelogram, then first of all we will form the parallelogram. Then their sum of these vectors A vector and B vector will represented by the diagonal with the same initial point. Means there are two diagonals. This is also diagonal and this is also diagonal. We will consider that diagonal that is generating with the same initial point. Same initial point means O. Okay, so this is equals to C vector, and C vector is equals to A vector plus B vector. Okay, so this law is called as the law of parallelogram or parallelogram law of addition of two vectors. Okay, now the next law, that is triangle law of addition of two vectors. Okay, A vector and B vector, we are considering again the two vector A vector and B vector, and these two vectors in magnitude and direction are representing any two sides of the triangle in the same order, in the same direction. Then their sum A vector plus B vector is represented by the third side taken in the reverse order. Okay, then their sum, that is A vector plus B vector, is represented by the third side and in reverse order. Okay, so if A vector is any vector, B vector is this vector, A vector is this vector, B vector is this. A vector and B vector are representing this side and this side of the triangle in the same order, in the same direction. Then their sum means A vector plus B vector is represented by the third side. That is this. Taken in reverse order means in this direction. Okay, so this is the C vector. So C vector is equals to A vector plus B vector. Okay, so these are the two laws, parallelogram law and triangle law of addition of two vectors. Now in this triangle, if we take all the three sides in the same order, in the same direction, then this one and this one. Okay, this and this direction will be same. This is A vector, this is B vector, and this is minus C vector. C vector is in reverse order, reverse direction. So when we change the direction, it will becomes negative of the given vector. So minus C vector. Okay, now A vector plus B vector is equals to minus C vector. A vector plus B vector is equals to minus C vector. So A vector plus B vector plus C vector is equals to 0. Okay, so A vector, B vector and C vector are the three sides of a triangle in direction and magnitude. These three vectors are representing the three sides of a triangle in same direction, in same order. Okay, then their sum is equals to 0 vector. Then their sum is equals to 0 vector. A vector plus B vector plus C vector is equals to 0 vector. This is called as the triangle law of addition of two vectors. Now both the laws are same. As triangle law is also representing the parallelogram law of addition of vector. Why? Let us draw a parallelogram using A vector and B vector as sides. So this is a parallelogram. Okay, now this side and this side are the adjacent side, and this is the diagonal with the same initial point. Its direction is this B vector. Okay, this is A vector, this is B vector, and their sum is represented by the third vector C vector in reverse with the same initial point, that is this point. Okay, so both the laws means triangle law and parallelogram law. Both laws are same as far as the vector addition is concerned. Okay, so this is all about the addition of vectors. Now we have classified the physical quantities into categories, that is scalar quantities and vector quantities. Vector quantities are those having the magnitude and direction in itself, but vector quantity may not be considered vector quantities unless and until they follows the parallelogram law of addition. If any two vector are not able to add by using the parallelogram law of vectors, then they are not to be considered as vectors. Okay, means two vectors are not to be considered as vector unless and until they follows the parallelogram law of vector. Means both vectors should be added by using the parallelogram law of vector. This is the third condition to be a vector. Okay, so thank you.